I had 3 bookings today, and I should have been ecstatic about it. An hour GFE, a 1.5 hour PSC, and a 2 hour couple. By the end of the day, I would have $4,200 cash in my little hands. My rent was overdue, I had a friend's birthday dinner tomorrow night, and I owed myself $1,250 in savings I still hadn't paid back from 3 weeks ago when I promised myself I would put it back within 24 hours. In short, I needed these bookings. I couldn't afford not to do them. But my anxiety was so high, I hadn't yet even succeeded at getting out of bed. I picked up my phone and scrolled through the notes of each booking. Maybe I could reschedule them. Shit. I'd already rescheduled the couple before. I was lucky they'd agreed to change the date. And my PSC guy, well, he was an out-of-towner, so zero chance he could be moved to another night. If I couldn't move these two, there was no point trying to move the 1 hour GFE. If I had to do one, I may as well do them all. Looking at my phone was a bad idea. I now realized I had 3 new inquiries I needed to respond to. Guilt flooded me and my anxiety spiked even higher. 3 days ago, I'd made myself a promise not to leave an inquiry hanging for a reply for longer than an hour. So I checked the time on each. They'd all been received over 6 hours ago. I sucked. No wonder I wasn't hitting my financial goals. I couldn't even respond to my clients who wanted to throw hundreds of dollars at me in a timely manner. Well, there was no point replying now. Surely by this point they would have already found another escort. So I opened the messages to mark them as read so my failure didn't sit there staring me in the face. Now, back to the matter at hand, my 3 bookings. It was 8 a.m. The first one was at 11 a.m. I had 3 hours to get my shit together. I should get up, take a shower, just start slow. Instead, I burst into tears and ended up cancelling them all. Now, I wish I could say this experience was a one-off or a rare and unusual occurrence. But the truth is, I know I've lost thousands of dollars and countless bookings to poorly timed anxiety episodes. But then, when is an episode of anxiety ever convenient or well-timed? In the 8 years I've worked with escorts, I've been comforted but also saddened to learn that I am not alone in my struggles with mental health. Anxiety and depression are extremely common within the working community. And while talking about mental health today may be more accepted and understood than ever before, it is my personal experience that when you're self-employed and your income relies on you showing up every day and doing everything yourself, it is not enough to just talk about these struggles. When an anxiety episode hits, what a person needs is real and actionable strategies for getting through. Take the experience I just shared with you, for example. I could have picked up the phone to any one of my working friends and cried about how I was feeling, and they would have listened and comforted me and done what any good friend would do. But it wouldn't have changed the outcome. In fact, I did this often and it never did. We would talk and I would cry and my friend would listen and I would feel mildly less alone for an hour. But then I'd get off the phone, exhausted by myself and my own emotions, and cancel all my bookings anyway, and be left with the same problem, which was that I needed the money those bookings would bring. And by cancelling them at such short notice, I was basically guaranteeing those clients would never come back. Not only would I lose the income, but I'd lose the potential of future repeat bookings, which is absolutely paramount in the escort business. Now, I have never cured my anxiety. Maybe one day I will, maybe I won't. What I have learned over time, though, is how to better manage my anxiety so my income doesn't suffer so much and I don't end up dug into a deeper, even more anxiety-inducing financial hole. Anyone who has anxiety or depression will understand that the actual anxiety or depression you experience is only one half of the battle. The other half is practically dealing with and managing the fallout it leads to in other areas of your life. As a self-employed person, that unfortunately usually means your income. While these anxiety episodes never went away, I did get better at managing them in such a way that they didn't lead to me cancelling all my bookings, throwing thousands of dollars away, and losing valuable, possibly repeat clientele, which, let's face it, you need as an escort to be able to build solid, reliable income. After all, as much as I loved the job, I wasn't a charity worker. I was here to make money and move ahead, and unfortunately, my anxiety was seriously affecting my ability to do that. Over the years, I developed a range of practical and emotional strategies that were realistic and easy to use when I was in the midst of even the worst anxiety episode, which radically decreased the impact they had on my income. I would like to share them with you now. Number 1, set extremely small, immediately achievable tasks. When anxiety hits, it sends you into overdrive. You simultaneously feel incapable of nothing, but like you need to address and solve every life problem you've ever had or have. When I have an anxiety episode, I'm suddenly flooded with all the things I need to do that day and everything I should be doing to achieve all my life goals. It is completely overwhelming. Then, because I feel so shitty, my mind goes into overdrive trying to figure out how I can entirely clear my schedule for the day, but also condense all my future plans so my goals aren't impacted by my day off. It's a paradox, really. You feel like crap, so you try to free yourself from your mental prison for the next 24 hours, but then you shove yourself straight back into that same mental cage, again by overloading yourself into the future to ensure you don't lose out on the time you've just cost yourself. Not only is it a paradox, but it's a trap, and it only serves to magnify your anxiety and make everything worse. For me, the solution to stopping this death spiral in the moment when I am experiencing it is to completely disregard all immediate and future life plans and to set myself laughably tiny and easily achievable goals. Often that was just to get up and take a shower. That's it. I would tell myself, Isabel, none of that matters right now. Just have a shower. That is all that matters and that's all you need to do. Now, at first, it will be hard to do this because your anxiety will try to force you back into a state of panic. But instead, talk to yourself. Pick one thing, one easy thing, and keep telling yourself over and over, this is all I need to do. This works because the obsessing over everything you can't do today and therefore must do tomorrow and into the future is way too much for your anxiety-addled brain to handle right now. Any plans or strategies you come up with in this state are probably bad ones and won't come to fruition anyway. So spending any time making them is just wasted energy. Secondly, when you feel like shit, thinking about everything you feel you should be doing but aren't makes you feel like a failure. What you instead need is a small, achievable win to pick you up and make you feel good about yourself. When you tell yourself, I just need to take a shower, then you go and actually do that, it feels like a positive step forward and you gain back some control. Step number 2, eat, move, and get amongst people. The next thing I do is I make a series of mini deals with myself, which encourage me to keep taking these tiny, actionable steps forward. My primary goal is to get myself to eat, get outside, moving around, and ideally eventually be amongst people. Not necessarily talking or mingling with people, but just within the vicinity of other humans. The deal goes like this. Isabel, now that you've showered, all you need to do is just eat. That's it. Then you can do nothing. So then I focus on just eating, and I repeat the process again. Isabel, just put some clothes on. Whatever clothes are comfortable. Don't worry about looking good. Just put something clean and fresh on your back. And again, I repeat the process. Each time I succeed, I feel better. And honestly, it increases my likelihood of making another little deal with myself and doing something else and moving forward. Plus, now I am no longer thinking about my to-do list for the day, or my life goals, or my financial position, or how I haven't cured cancer yet. Not only are these small progressions important for getting you out of the anxiety hole, and not only do they distract you from all the unhelpful thoughts you're likely going to be having, but these 3 specific actions, eat, move, and get amongst people, are physical game changers for an anxiety episode. At least they always were for me. You will handle things better when you feel physically better. That means when you are fed, when you have moved your body around, and when you have been around other humans because you're a social creature. You'll be amazed at how transformative it can feel to just have another human being smile at you courteously on a day when you feel like you want to die. This might seem like a lot of things to achieve when you're feeling anxious, but remember you will work up to it. I never try to do all these things at once. I just do one step and try not to think about any other step while I'm doing it. By the time you've had 3 mini wins, you'll likely be feeling significantly better and the anxiety will have subsided immensely. Number 3, don't make any contact with your clients for the day till you've eaten, moved, and been amongst people. Now, I make it a rule for myself that I don't check my phone or contact my clients for the day till I've completed this series of mini wins. Until my anxiety has subsided, any thought of or contact with clients will just send me right back to reeling. Plus, I'm really likely to do things that I later regret, like, for example, cancel all my bookings. So I stay off my phone and away from my clients till I have done what I know works for me to get my anxiety to subside. Then and only then do I get my work phone. And once I'm there, I deal with whatever is going on with my bookings for that day only. Usually by this time, I'm feeling so much better that I at least feel clear on whether I will or will not go through with my bookings and I can handle them accordingly. Typically, I'm now in a state where I can do the bookings. Or if I have any particularly intense booking or client planned, I will move or cancel just that one instead of the entire day with an all or nothing attitude. In short, I am now calm enough and clear minded enough to make sensible, rational decisions. If I have a really long booking or a very demanding client and I know I'm not yet improved enough to be up to it, I do my best to move it or cancel it. And in my calmer state, I am much better at managing my feelings of guilt about it. I remind myself that my income making ability is totally reliant on my state of well being, and so that must always come first. But that also means calming myself down before making rash or irrational decisions or handling the rescheduling or cancelling of clients unprofessionally. Which brings me to number 4. If you cancel or reschedule a client, keep it simple and offer them something valuable to keep them. If you have to cancel or move a booking, it's best to handle it as professionally as possible. Clients don't want to know that you're having a bad day, or are sick, or hear some crazy story you've made up which you think justifies the need to cancel. All they care about really is that they're now missing out on something they were looking forward to. The highest priority now, if you've gotten to this point, is that you retain them for the future. So, in my experience, the best way to explain a change in plans to a client is actually not to give them any detail about the reason at all. So I simply say, John, I am sincerely sorry for any inconvenience. However, I'm going to need to ask that we reschedule our appointment today. The reason, quite frankly, is irrelevant, and we don't need to burden our clients with our problems or have them worry that we're sick and that seeing us sometime soon might make them sick too, or have them think we are unstable and might cancel again if they reschedule. We also don't want to put our clients in a position where we're kind of trying to get them to make the decision for us. I used to say things like, John, I've woken up not feeling well. I would hate to make you sick too. I'm sure it's nothing serious, but do you still want to meet? I mean, this isn't professional, and it damages the kind of stress-free escape you want to create for your clients. Instead, we need to make our own decisions, then politely and professionally inform our clients with minimal fuss, while simultaneously offering them something which makes the overall situation a win for them. And my favorite way to do this is by offering additional complimentary time next time we meet. Now, this is basically a discount because they're getting your overall time at a lower rate than you advertise. But I do it this way because I, A, don't want to earn less from the booking and reduce my income, and B, I don't want the client to get used to seeing me for less money. So instead, I try to manufacture a scenario where they spend what they were going to spend anyway, and therefore I make the money I was counting on, but make the value of what they're getting considerably more. If I have cancelled, especially at short notice, I make the bonus bigger and better. That might be 30 minutes or an hour. If I know the client because they're a repeat customer and I know about something that really matters to them, then I'll give them that as a bonus instead. Typically, more time is the simplest, and it's the most widely appreciated and most reliable way to encourage a client to reschedule. And most importantly, you make the same amount of money. If you end up not being in the state to do a booking you have that day, then that's okay. But you want to do your best to reschedule the client so you still retain that income in the future when you are up for it and your anxiety has passed, which it always will. Your chances of doing that increases significantly if you handle the situation appropriately with the client. That means being professional, drama-free, and offering an upside that ultimately turns a negative into a positive. Have you ever had to wait a really long time at McDonald's for your food, or had the order come out completely wrong, gotten super pissed about it, but then were given the meal totally for free? I have. And honestly, once I find out it's free, I'm so pleasantly surprised at how it's been handled because most customer service is not handled this way. Plus, as silly as it sounds, I'm stoked that I didn't have to pay, that I usually completely forget about my annoyance, and I'm just super pumped about how it turned out. And you can make your clients feel the same way. When things don't go according to plan, people get annoyed, especially customers because they feel like it's unjustified because they're a customer. When you express that you understand that what's happened is an inconvenience and you demonstrate you're willing to make it up to them and inconvenience yourself in a way which benefits the customer feels really valued. Plus, they feel happy about the bonus stuff they just got that they didn't have to pay for. You, of course, get to feel relief because you now still have that income and you haven't lost a client. Everyone wins. Yay! You won anxiety zero, bitch. You can apply this same strategy for any time you have to move or inconvenience a client, whether that be because you're sick or have a scheduling clash or whatever. There are thousands of escorts to choose from, and we never want to give a client a reason to go to someone else. Don't think about this as discounting your time. Think of it as retaining and building your client base. The more clients and the more repeat clients you have, the more money you will make. Now, anxiety is a bitch, and I've wasted a lot of time being angry and ashamed with myself for not being able to get rid of it entirely. But in hindsight, I finally came to see that this was wasted energy and didn't serve me in any way. Everyone has their struggles. Some escorts I work with have serious health issues that impact their ability to do bookings. Others have family or relationship constraints. The best advice I have ever received is to focus on the solution, not the problem. We all have problems, and while it would be nice to not have them, that just isn't reality. If you struggle with anxiety and it's costing you money, then give these 4 steps a try. They worked for me, and I hope they can help you manage your anxiety and reduce the burden of loss of income if that's what you're experiencing too. That's all for this video. If it helped you, then let me know by hitting that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.